What's up guys, it's Cullen here with Up North Outdoors, and I'm gonna be living out of this Sherp for 14 days in Alaska and documenting the entire adventure. In this video, I'm gonna be going through the Sherp front to back mechanically to make sure this thing is as bulletproof as I can make it before I start installing accessories and ship it off to Alaska. First thing I'm doing before I start tearing open this Sherp is I'm gonna put 1 or 2 hours just driving on it in this open field, testing the steering, making sure everything sounds right, smells right, tastes right. If there's anything off, I can know to look for it while I have the machine apart. This Sherp already has been looked over once by our mechanics, but I really want to go through and double check everything that they did. Not because I don't trust them, but because I want to learn. So I'm gonna have them help me a bit, and in this video I'm gonna walk through and learn how to do all the adjustments and replace, learn how to replace parts and do everything that I'll possibly need to know how to do in the field in Alaska if anything goes wrong. So I'm gonna quit flapping my gums, put an hour or two on this thing, and then catch you guys in the shop. All right, I got about an hour put on this thing yesterday, so it's cooled off now, and it's time to start tearing this thing down. What I'm gonna do here is actually dump the tire pressure of the Sherp, so it sits way lower, makes it easier to climb in and out of it while I'm working on it. You can see this fabric interior actually doubles as insulation. These are actually fairly thick panels here, and they definitely help keep the machine warm, which is good. Just to learn you guys a bit on Sherp, so this right here is your fuse box under your passenger seat. This right here is your main heater that runs off of, it's your main water heater. It runs off of coolant, blows heat out for the front cab here. Then under here are your batteries. So that's where you can access them, or you can jump start the machine if you have to. Then right here is the manual valve. This is the valve I actually opened to deflate the tires in the Sherp. I have it open right now. You can close it here, and it keeps the exhaust in. Before I go too crazy stripping the rear here, I am gonna remove these benches first. So now you can kind of start seeing the guts of the Sherp. Get your 4-cylinder turbo Kubota engine right here. Get your transmission. Here's your steering clutch packs. Here's your drivers and passenger side wheel chains. All right, I'm pulling this panel off to be able to access my levers so I can make some adjustments, because this left one's a little bit looser than the right one. I like to have them even, so. All right, so I want to make this stick tighter, just a little looser than this one. So what I'm gonna do is loosen that lock nut and then adjust that shaft until I get the stick matching this one, feeling the same. I'll have to drive it, but that feeling a lot more even of a pull there. I'm gonna pull this panel so I can get to my front bearings. I'm gonna check all 4 of those now, because that is one thing that would really, really suck. But I do not want to do in the field. I'd much rather do here if I can see any of them are going bad. Now I can get to both my boots. So I just gotta pull these boots off, and then I can check the bearings. And I'm gonna do that on all 4. The other ones are located in the back. This bearing feels good. No sticking at all. That one feels pretty good. All right, front ones were good. Gonna check these back ones now. Feels pretty good. This one's probably the tightest one to get to. Feels good. So looks like I won't have to be replacing any bearings, which is nice because it's not a super fun job to do. All right, guys, after a month of demos and traveling and not working on this thing, it's time to get back to it because I gotta leave in about a month. We checked the bearings, they're looking good. It just had a recent oil change, so I'm not gonna do that, but I still kind of got a list of things here left to do. I did check and adjust the steer sticks, they're where I want them. I'm gonna check the rest of the fluids on the machine, chain oil, the coolant, the brake fluid, check the chain tensions, check the brake pads, replace the batteries. The one battery keeps going dead. We tried putting a trickle charger on it, but it's pretty much shot. And then I'm gonna check kind of function tests on the heaters and the lights and all that good stuff. And then once I'm done with that, it'll be time to finally start installing accessories. Chain oil is good. If you're a Sherp owner watching this, when you replace your chain oil and you fill it up, you know, it calls for on the tag using 75-90 weight. We recommend using synthetic bar oil, like for a chainsaw. That way you're not flinging that stinky oil all around, and it does a great job lubricating the chains. It's just a lot less mess. Coolant's right where I want it to be. Good and good. Inspect these door seals. Sometimes they'll get torn down here, just get a little bit of water in, but these look good. Looks good. I called in the backup, Hudson. He's gonna show us how to adjust chain tension on a Sherp Pro.
It's not a bad job if you have the correct tools. We use a deep socket that just has the threads in the final length of the socket. There are 2 adjusters in the back for the rear chains, 2 adjusters in the front for the front chains. The way you do it, this adjusting bolt pulls this sprocket up or down, which tensions this rear chain. So you stick that long socket. You can build one of these yourself by taking a standard socket and cutting it, as it's pretty difficult to get a wrench in there. Drop that over the bolt and loosen that locking nut that you can see down at the very bottom. That nut folds the bolt into position. Make sure that lock nut is loose. Now you can go ahead and turn the bolt from the top. And you adjust the length, the opposite side of the tensioner, so they're on the longer chains, which is the 4 chains that drive the wheels, to about 3/4 of an inch of slack on the length opposite of the tensioner. This one's already set correctly, so I'm not going to adjust this one. I'm going to tighten the lock nut back down.
Perfect. Thank you. So it looks like when we got this Sherp in trade, we must have gone through all of this already because we have a new fuel filter on here. These chains are both adjusted good. Reach out, check these ones. Yeah, those chains are good. And these brake pads are, I mean, this Sherp only has 80 hours on it, and these brake pads are both almost 100%, so we're good there. All right, now we're gonna get one of the batteries out of here. So the Sherps have 2 batteries. They have a backup battery, which is actually the one closer to the front, and they have the main battery. The main battery on this Sherp, it's dead. When it sits, we've charged it, it slowly dies after a few days. And the Sherp is from 2019, so you know the battery's about 5-6 years old. It's about time to replace anyway. So I'm gonna replace the main one, the front one, the backup battery. So if you kill your main battery, press that switch, lights up. I'm just gonna keep that one in there for now because that one still has juice, and worst case scenario, for some reason that one failed and I killed the main battery, I'm gonna be out there with 2 other Sherps. That would be very easy to get jump started from them. The batteries do kind of stink to get out here. There's not a ton of room, so I'm gonna kind of pull this windshield wiper washer out of the way. Then our mechanics recommend putting something over this heat wrap. You can be reaching your hand up there so you don't get insulation all over in your arm while you're unhooking all the terminals and everything, and then gonna kind of have to wrestle the battery out this way. That kind of sucks. So the factory batteries that are in these Sherps are a European Bosch battery that are pretty much impossible to get. They are impossible to get in the United States. We've tried, we can't. So the closest thing that we found is running these Napa batteries. So if you guys are interested, if you're trying to replace a battery in your Sherp Pro, the number is 7581R from Napa. You will have to do a small modification to get to fit. It's actually a slightly bigger battery, which is nice. And I will show you how we do that here. And then you'll need some adapters for the terminals because they don't have the small terminals like the other ones did. All right, so since that other battery is a little bit longer than these Bosch ones, I've got to cut, it's kind of crooked in there right now, but I'm gonna cut the edges of that box and fold it out so then we can be able to slide that battery in there, and then we'll actually do a ratchet strap just around them to hold them together, and then do the rubber strap over them to keep them in place. So these are the adapters you're going to want to use. They're just marine adapters. So you want to put these on your battery before you put it in there. It makes it a little easier. All right, so this battery is actually a little bit shorter than the ones that are in here. You can't quite reach the post, you struggle to. So we got these extensions here, and you can make your own too if you want, but we ordered these, so I just figured wait for them to come. So I'm gonna pull off, all the connections for the ground and positive terminal on that back battery, and bolt them onto here, insulate the positive, and then connect these to the battery. All right, so I didn't get the battery fully in yet. I made sure it would fit though in my slots there, which it does, and I've got the wires connected, so I'm gonna give it a little test, make sure we got power and everything's working before I put the battery in there and secure it. Some of these old model Sherps that came out of the Ukrainian factory, the Pros, they used whatever wire they had. Some of them have red wires running to the negative, so I really make sure when you're swapping stuff, take the negative off and then do all your swaps, and then the positive, do all your swaps. Don't take both off at the same time, otherwise you're gonna get wires mixed up and have issues. I think I got everything right. There was one wire that I might have missed on the negative side, but I'm not 100% sure. I think it was a positive one. I put it on the positive. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out. All right, here's a moment of truth. Let's turn on the main power switch. Oh, we got lights. That's off the main battery. That's good. We've got ignition. All right. Turns the Sherp over, no problem. And I don't hear any weird noises or see any smoke. So I think I got those hooked up right. That means I can push the battery in there and get it locked down and secured. Slide that in. One more thing, if you guys are doing this yourself on a Sherp, if you extend your cable, where you hook up all your positive ends, I would recommend wrapping some kind of, some kind of insulator over that, and then electrical taping it up just so you don't have those exposed positive connections, possibly, shorten off on stuff. So I'm gonna wrap that up, and then we'll get the battery strapped in. All right, so I just zip tied on a piece of this kind of corrugated hose here and put a little bit of electrical tape on there and zip tied it on. Now those hot connections aren't exposed. Well, all strapped up over the top and on the sides, and these batteries are not moving anywhere. Well, I gotta admit, out of everything I've done on this thing so far service-wise, swapping that main battery's actually kind of sucked the most. It's so tight in there. It kind of stinks to do. The new Sherps though, the ends, a lot easier to do. That's one thing, but it's tough because, you know, these vehicles, they're boats, and they keep the weight center, so the end is in the middle. So there's not very much room, you know, everything they've got to find a spot for in the floor. But you know what? I'm not a mechanic, not super experienced, and I was able to wrestle and do it pretty quickly. So was it super fun? No. Can you do it if you got a Sherp? Yeah. Otherwise, you know, if you got a local mechanic, they can do it for you too. Alrighty, only got a few things left here for my mechanical checks list, and then I should be pretty confident. I'll be pretty confident everything will be running good mechanically on this Sherp. So what I have left here is summer or winter fan. I checked, it has the winter fan. I'm on the fence if I want to run the summer or winter fan yet, so I'm going to keep the winter one in for now. As we get closer, I'm going to see what the weather is like up there, and kind of make my decision probably a few days before I leave. That either way, it'll cool the engine just fine. It just, with the winter fan, it keeps all the engine heat in the cab, so it keeps it really hot in the cab. Summer fan, it sucks the heat out, keeps it cooler in the cab, because these old Sherp Pros, for the most part, don't have AC. So we're gonna skip that, and then I wanna check the main heater and the Webasto heater, the secondary diesel turbine heater that turns on. I need to make sure that's functioning well, because that's gonna be my heat at night when I'm sleeping. And then I just wanna do a full light function test. So I'm gonna go ahead and pound these out real quick, and now that we got the battery back in, because we can run all this stuff. Climb in the back here. And yeah, the Webasto heater is just a diesel turbine heater. If you're familiar with like semis, it's a Blue Heat was another brand of it. But basically this is actually the unit right here. So it runs off of just a tiny little bit of diesel. You can run about 8 hours of the main battery before it kills that main battery. And all you do to turn it on in the Sherps here anyway, is you just turn that dial on. You see that green light up? And you can actually hear, I can hear it starting to run. So I'm just gonna give that a little bit to do its boot up process, and then let it start burning diesel and see if we get hot air coming out. It's kind of cool. So you can divert the heat to the cab, so it just blows heat straight into the cab, warms it up. If it's cold at night sleeping, it's really nice to do that. Or you can push this choke in and or pull it out. One of these, you can pull this choke, and then it'll divert all of that heat to the engine compartment. So if it's 40 below and you need to heat your Sherp engine, you can do that. You don't need a block heater to plug it in. Right there, I hear that little diesel pump going. So that it actually has its own little fuel pump that runs diesel to that Webasto heater. I hear that kicking on. Now it's starting to rev up. Let it run for a little bit. I just want to make sure it's good to go. Sometimes they make scary noises when they get started up, so don't worry. All right, it's been running for a little bit now. Got hot air coming out of its cabin vents. It worked, the hot air stops coming, so that means the choke flap, or the flapper is working. Fuel pump's still going, seems to be working well. So I'm gonna shut it down here. All I do is just turn this dial down, then it takes a little while, it does a little cool down process. If it instantly shuts off, that can damage it, so it does its cool down process. We'll listen and make sure it does that properly, and then I can cross the Webasto off the list. You can actually see kind of the exhaust in the air. It actually has its own little exhaust pipe there. So there's the Sherp exhaust pipe, and there's the cute little exhaust pipe for that diesel heater. Interior lights, good. All right, we got light bar, good. We got high beams, good. Low beams, good. Put the hazards on, we'll check those. And we'll put on the cool running lights as well. Blinkers, got running lights, blinkers, running lights, and we've got blinker, running lights, blinker, running lights. Well, all the lights work, and it sounds like that Webasto is shut off, so that works as well. Well, looks like my mechanical checks are done, so it's time to start doing accessories. All right, guys, I think I'm gonna wrap up this video since we just finished all the mechanical checks, then we'll do accessories as a separate video or maybe multiple videos depending on how deep we go into it. Before I end this video, I do want to kind of get a brief update on the Moose trip, kind of what's the planning behind the scenes. We have a big change, a big decision I made last week on this trip, and that is originally, in the first video, I believe I spoke about it. Originally, we planned on barging the Sherp up to Anchorage, and then I was gonna fly up, then just hunt there for 2 weeks, fly back, and sell the Sherp in Alaska. We had some things change, and barge prices have gone up a lot more than what they used to be, and shipping prices have as well. So I have made the decision that we are gonna drive. So that kind of changes things a lot, but also the plan is still pretty much the same, just adds a little bit of time. So, and a little bit more adventure. Yeah, not only do I need to make sure the Sherp is prepared, I also need to get the truck that we're gonna take and trailer that we're gonna take, make sure those are very, very prepared. And it kind of just adds a whole nother dynamic to this, because we're probably actually gonna be camping out of the Sherp on the way up there and the way back, because a lot of the area we're gonna be running, we're gonna be running until we can't run anymore, because we want to try to do it as quick as possible. So we'll probably be pulling off, doing a lot of camping out of the Sherp. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be an adventure of a lifetime, and this is gonna make it even that much more of an adventure, which I am super excited for. But I'm a little sad, because it's gonna add a little bit of time. I'm gonna be missing my daughter. She's not even 1.5 yet. So this is gonna be the longest, by far the longest I've ever been gone from home. So that's gonna be tough. I'm gonna miss my wife, Marae, of course, as well. But yeah, that part's gonna be tough. So we're gonna try to make it there in like 3 or 4 days and just try to really pound it out. If we can, we might, cut the hunt from 14 days. I might head out, cut that down to 10 to 12 days instead of 14. So then, in the grand scheme of things, I'm only gone an extra couple days compared to an extra whole week. But that's kind of the plan anyway. But yeah, just wanted to update you guys on that aspect of things. And then I'll also probably be taking the Sherp back with me to the States. Unless any of you guys are watching, if you're in Alaska and you want a Sherp demo when I'm up there, I'll probably be up there for an extra day after the hunt, because I have a Sherp client that I'm gonna be going and hanging out with. So I might have a little bit of time. If you were really interested, I could give you a demo and you can check out the Sherp, and I would be willing to sell it up there. And I won't be charging any shipping, of course, because I'm already gonna have it up there anyway. Or if you guys are interested in any other Sherps, we got new ones, we got other used ones. We build them out here, we're Sherp USA. That's the day job. So if you can click the link in the description, you can find my number and contact info on our site. Feel free to reach out to me. You can schedule a demo, all that fun stuff. I really believe in these machines. I love them, and I'm super excited for this trip. Next video on the channel will actually be a little bit different. It'll be a Sherp adventure video in Colorado. The wife and I, we went and did a demo out there in Colorado Springs. I was driving the Sherp way up in the mountains and just had a fun mountain adventure with the family. I filmed that, so that will be in between this video and then probably the accessory video. And that's why I haven't been working on this thing for like the last, I don't know, I think it was 40 days ago I posted the going to Alaska video, because I made that plan, then announced it, and then we've been traveling for work and then been super busy here. So finally I'm gonna be here in Minnesota working on this Sherp for the next 4 weeks. So yeah, it's gonna be about a month until we leave. Yeah, before you click off this video, I encourage you to watch this one last little segment. And as always, guys, God bless, Jesus loves you, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, guys, I just wanted to end this video real quick with the Bible verse of the day. This is Matthew 5:16. Let your light shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. So guys, if you have Jesus in your heart, if you love your Lord, you don't need to do good works to make it to heaven, but it makes your Father happy and it allows other people to see the light of God and the fire of heaven burning through you. They're able to see that just through the good things that you do. So I encourage you guys, do something good today. God bless. See you in the next video.